Well, hello everyone. This is Jason Zeidema of NAMMA, the North American Maritime Ministry Association. And today I'm speaking with Karen Parsons, who's a Catholic Ecclesial Lay Minister serving as the Apostleship of the Sea Chaplain in the ports of Galveston and Texas City, Texas. Karen began her port ministry career over 35 years ago in the port of Detroit, Michigan. And she's the author of a number of books, including The Diary of a Port Chaplain, My Journey of Faith with Seafarers, which was published with NAMMA in 2014. And she's had a long career dealing with a correspondence ministry with seafarers since her earliest days of working with seafarers. And so today, welcome to this conversation, Karen.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So can you describe for us what is correspondence ministry with seafarers and why is it useful in maritime ministry?
Well, if we think about seafarers being, during their career, the majority of their time is spent at sea. It's not in port and it's not at home with their families. The majority of their lives are spent at sea, away from everybody else, except for each other. So as a port chaplain, I learned early on that if I wanted to maintain a relationship with a seafarer who was in need, such as someone who was extremely homesick, I had to find a way to correspond with them. In the old days, it was only snail mail. Now we have all kinds of technology that we can continuously converse with each other while they're at sea. And I think it's a great way to do that.
Why, perhaps now in this time of coronavirus, is it a good time to start writing? If some have been hesitant to this point, why do you think this is a good time to start?
Well, in the past few weeks, most of us, have not been able to have quality ship visits. Most people, if we have access to ships, it's gangway visits, which means you stop at the top of the gangway and shout over 5 feet away to whoever's on watch duty, tell them who you are, and you really don't have a whole lot of time to connect with anybody on the ship because they're all busy and they can't stop at the gangway and talk with you. So I found a great way to do that is to hand the watchman a letter that I had previously written, even though I never knew the crew, never met the crew, and just handed them a letter so that they could, as they sail, read the letter. They have my contact information in it, and then the relationship is established that way.
So what do these letters actually say? What should these letters be about? When perhaps some people think about this correspondence ministry, they think, oh, I have to write some really complicated, big theological letter with something very profound. What would you say to someone who, to a ship visitor, a chaplain who would say, who has perhaps some fears about writing? Maybe they feel, I don't really have something to say. How to overcome those fears and start writing letters that develop meaningful conversations?
Well, the first thing is to remember we're all human and we're all in this together. I use a 90-10 formula, which means 90% of the letter is focused on the seafarers, inquiring them about their health, about their families, about the situation, encouraging them, letting them know that I am praying for them and our whole community is praying for them. And, totally 90% on them. The 10% is to give them the human element of letting them know that I'm a real person too, and this is what me and my family are going through. The whole point is not to dump my problems on them. It's just to let them know that we understand. We understand isolation now, where before we might not have done that. So anyone who is apprehensive about writing, to Seafarers, just open your heart to the Holy Spirit, because the Spirit's going to move through you to them and say the words that God needs spoken to them. It is not a time to proselytize. It's not a time to, tell them, Jesus only. It's a time to love them, encourage them, let them know that they are part of our human family and they are visible to us, even though we can't sit down and have that cup of coffee with them. We know they're there. We love them, we serve them, and we're here. Make sure your contact information is in there so that they can contact you via email while they're at sea. Your address for Seafarer Center, if we open up and they come back in, they'll surely seek you out to thank you for that letter. And a phone number if you are up to taking phone calls.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for your time and for giving us a few ideas about how to start this correspondence ministry and about why it's so important. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.